So I'm going to show you a lovely, quick, creamy pasta dish using some bronze dyed pasta, which I'm going to show you this fusilli here. So it's going to catch the sauce. We're going to put chicken into it, the PGI logo, and what bronze dye means, everyone, it's like a plate that they push the pasta through. So it creates texture and holds to the sauce. So these are just recently launched by Simply Better, and they have a really nice rigatoni one here I want to show you, which is kind of like a large tube. It's really lovely pasta, so it is excellent. And it's from an area just outside Naples. I went to meet the producer. So it's like a metal or a brass plate the size of, say, this bowl, and they push it through and that creates the texture. So that's what bronze dye means. I actually never knew what that meant until I joined the Simply Better team. I'd heard about it, but I didn't really understand what it meant. So all I'm just doing, I've started the cooking process of the pasta. So that's in there with a bit of salt. So boiling away, lots of water, no need for oil. I'm going to give that another couple of minutes because we're going to cook it until what we call it al dente, which means that it's firm to the bite, but that it's not in any way raw. That's really important, and it's not overcooked. Going to show you the chicken. We're going to get that prepped up. We're going to get a little bit of oil in the pan. So we're using some nice Wicklow oil from rapeseed oil. I'll go through that in a moment. So these are the corn-fed chicken. So it's fed on maize. So what you're looking for here, it's good Irish chicken. You're looking for the quality mark, the Borbia quality mark. So this is, I always just think this is a great product. It's succulent, it's moist, it's delicious. You can wrap it in Parma ham, pan fry it in a little bit of oil and butter and a little bit of thyme. It works so well. So I've just removed the skin. You can get the skinless chicken breast, I should have said that. So I've just got two here, and I'm going to cut it. So I'm not going to cut it lengthways, I'm going to cut it crossways. You can cut it into pieces, but I like to kind of serve it like that. So I'm just going to cut that, and then obviously when you handle any kind of raw meat, you got to wash your hands. I'm going to just do two chicken breasts here. Should be absolutely perfect. So that's one breast there, and then the same for the other one. So you see that's the length of the chicken. We just removed the skin. You know, there's no bone on this. It cooks really, really quick. And even if you want a quick marinade with a little bit of rapeseed oil, a little bit of lemon zest, fresh thyme, it works so well. It really does. Okay. What I'll do, just when I have the board in the pan, I'll just literally, the pan is nice and hot. So we just literally place the chicken in there. Perfect. And we're just kind of, see the way I'm spreading that out? Now you can do this in a large frying pan. You can do it on the skillet pan. So I'm just literally going to seal this off here, and I'm going to put in some nice bacon lardons, which I'm going to talk to you about in a moment. So see the way I'm spreading that all over the pan. Not just throwing it all in one big piece, kind of spreading it all over the pan. Wash your hands, really important. And then we're just checking our pasta. So I want to get a little bit of a colour there. You can use some butter if you want to. I'm just going to use the rapeseed oil, and this is from Wicklow, so it is. So with the pasta, I like the rapeseed oil because it gets a nice high smoke temperature, which is lovely. So I'm just going to drizzle a little bit more in there. It's a really easy recipe, this. So we're cooking the pasta. I love this because it's going to catch the sauce from the pasta, and that looks very nearly done. I'll take out a little bit in a moment and taste it. Don't be afraid to taste it. So just with our chicken, just literally kind of, you can just give it a little mix round, get a tiny little bit of colour if you can. Just spread it out there. Keep the pan nice and hot. And I'm going to use some of these lovely bacon lardons. So these are from O'Neill's. They won Small Producer of the Year a couple of years ago for Simply Better, and they're absolutely wonderful. Again, the Borbia quality mark. So we know we're supporting Irish farmers, Irish producers. So these are the lardons. I'm just going to literally put them into the pan. A lardon just means a dice, just a little dice of the bacon. So just going to literally spread that around there. You could get some of the Simply Better whiskey smoked bacon if you wanted the smoky flavour on that. You know, the one I've used in so many of my videos, and just chop that up and put that in there. A couple of smoked rashers, absolutely delicious. So I'm kind of spreading this out, and then just literally flip this over in a moment. So get it nice and hot. So the sauce is very, very simple. Creme fraiche. This is from Donegal. So you'll pick this up in your Dunnes stores, okay? So it's from Conway in County Donegal. Some of this really lovely fresh basil pesto. You've seen me using that in so many of the videos, and that's it there. And traditionally your basil pesto obviously has basil in it, extra virgin olive oil, a little bit of Parmesan Reggiano, pine nuts, and some garlic, and that's it. It's an absolutely fabulous product. I love this, even over some toasted bread. Now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to flip this over. I'm going to turn off my pasta, and you get a nice bit of colour. Can you see that there? Lovely, Claire. A nice little bit of colour there, which is perfect. Gorgeous. You could actually do this if you were roasting, say you were roasting the Simply Better corn-fed chicken, you know, which I love to do with some lemon and a little bit of butter, roast it, and if you had leftover chicken, you could make up the sauce and then add in the chicken, no problem at all. Okay, we're going to strain some of this, but I want to keep back, I'll just use this little bowl here. I want to keep back some of the water, and I'll show you why in a moment. It's going to loosen the sauce. So this is the pasta water, roughly about what? A little bit more than a quarter of a pint. So this will take anything between 8 to 10 minutes. Just before I started the video, I put salt into the water. This should be just, it's not perfect. There's a tiny little bit of a bite. It's obviously hot, but it's great. It's a really good pasta. Really lovely, lovely pasta. Now, so that's it there. And even if you wanted something really quick, excuse me, you could throw in some of that lovely basil pesto, a little bit of Parmesan cheese, and away you go. It's gorgeous. The whole thing about this recipe, it's really quick. It's more or less a one-pan dish because obviously I've had to boil the pasta. You could use some of the Simply Better fresh pasta too if you wanted to, which would make it even faster. Okay, I'm going to put in the full tub of the creme fraiche, should I say. So scoop that all out. Just kind of stir this through. We're going to put in 2 of the large spoonfuls of the pesto, and I mean large. And then just stir this through. And this is where the pasta water comes in very handy, everyone. You can use stock, but you can just use the pasta. Remember, you have salt in that too, so it's already kind of seasoned water. And then just stir this through. So all you're doing is just loosening up this. You could put sun-dried tomatoes, you could put some of the Simply Better roasted peppers, which I use a lot at home. And it's just a very, very simple recipe. But using great produce, good chicken, really nice bacon, and then you have that lovely creme fraiche and pasta. Now just let that just simmer away just for a moment. Then I'm going to pop in the pasta. So you just stir it all through, and you want it to coat it. And then just kind of just using your spatula here. Just stir this through. Couldn't be easier. It's such a simple, easy, lovely recipe. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get a little bit of fresh basil because I have some lovely fresh basil. And then we're going to finish it with some pine nuts, and that's it. I'm going to let that simmer there just for a minute or two, turn down the pan. So getting this lovely fresh basil plant. So we're just going to cut this into the kind of little strips. Now remember, you don't have to use the pesto and the fresh basil. But when you have it here, it's just lovely and fresh. So roll this all up. We're going to cut this super fine. I'm going to switch that off now. So roll it up. Watch your fingers when you're doing this. And normally, like, you could tear some basil in, but this is going straight in, because if you left that for about half an hour, it just goes black, it bruises. So just sprinkle that in there. It's lovely and fresh. Some toasted pine nuts. This is optional. So in a dry pan, some pine nuts, just literally toast them. But it couldn't be easier, this recipe. Great one for feeding a family. You can put mushrooms into it, so you can just mix it up a little bit. But the creme fraiche is lovely and light rather than cream. You know me, I'd probably use cream and the creme fraiche. So lots of that lovely toasted pine nuts. Make sure you toast them in a dry pan or under the grill or in the oven. But if you're doing them in the oven, set a timer. So that's going to give a nice bit of a crunch and texture to it. And then we're ready to serve. It just couldn't be easier. We're going to finish it with some Parmesan cheese. So what we do is just get it. You look at that pasta. See the way it's catching the sauce. It's really simple, full of flavour, and a great little recipe, I think, for all the family to enjoy. That nice big chunks of chicken. You want to know you're eating chicken. Just wipe your bowl. Some more pine nuts. A little bit of grated Parmesan, and I'm using the Simply Better Parmesan cheese. That's it there that I've just opened. So I got to meet this producer and then just literally shave that just over. Lovely. Just remove the little stalk of basil. And then a little bit of extra, just a tiny little bit of pesto. It's simple, it's delicious, but it really is tasty, and that's what we want at home. Something that's quick, a one-pan dish. Tiny little sprig if you want to have basil into it. It's either mint or basil I'm using for me finishing the wee dishes. And that's it. It's really, really simple. The twins love this recipe. I hope you enjoy it. It's my creamy pasta with some lovely corn-fed chicken, the bacon lardons. You could put peas into that sweet corn, I forgot to mention that. And then just finished with the pesto and that lovely Parmesan cheese. So enjoy this lovely kind of family treat. I think it's a really quick and delicious recipe. Thank you.